Around the world, animals are subject to inhumane chemical testing. There are estimated to be more than 115 million animals that are used for testing each year worldwide. This excludes the many countries that do not record and publish their data. The tests that are run on the animals are cruel, injecting lethal doses of a drug into the animal, putting irritating chemicals in the eyes of the animal and preventing it from blinking, or being force-fed something that develops a disease. These are just a few examples of the unethical tests that are run on defenseless animals. The use of animals to test the safety of a drug or cosmetic should be stopped globally, and the search for alternatives should be more extensive. It is commonly thought that only mice or rats are used for chemical testing, but this is false. A study conducted by AAVS in 2014 to 2015 showed that scientists will use guinea pigs, hamsters, rabbits, dogs, non-human primates, pigs, sheep, cats, and other related animals for research. Many people love animals, and seeing cats and dogs used as house pets is common. If one of your pets was having painful tests run on them, how would you feel? If we express such care for animals, why are we letting companies hurt and kill them by the millions? Companies that animal test their products know that if people knew what happened in the lab, they would stop buying their products. This is why there is little awareness raised on the subject. Even when companies claim they are cruelty-free, they use chemicals that were previously tested on animals. More people need to be aware of the reality of animal testing so we can be one step closer to solving it. Alternatives have been discovered that are cheaper and more accurate than testing on animals, who are biologically very different from us. Harvard's Weiss Institute created organs on chips that contain human cells. PETA says that the chips can be used instead of animals in disease research, drug testing, and toxicity testing, and have been shown to replicate human physiology, diseases, and drug responses more accurately than crude animal experiments do. This alternative is cheaper than having to obtain hundreds of millions of animals and to provide a space for each one. It is also much more humane and does not put any animals or humans in danger. Over 100 million animals could be saved from a life in a cold, dark laboratory, having test after test run on them, almost certainly harming them every time. Other alternatives include EpiSkin, which is composed of artificial skin and can save thousands of rabbits from harmful chemical tests. Scientists can also use human blood from volunteers, which tests the safety of certain intravenous drugs. Not only are the tests inhumane, they are also inaccurate. According to the Humane Society, 9 out of every 10 medicines that are safe when tested on animals fail when they are given to humans. In 2006, 6 human volunteers were injected with the chemical TGN-1412. It took less than an hour before all the volunteers were writhing in pain and had to be taken to the hospital. The chemical was tested on mice, rabbits, rats, and monkeys and had no negative effects. Animal tests can also lead to the disposal of cures that pose negative effects when given to animals. An article in Nature Reviews Drug Discovery describes how tamoxifen, a very effective drug that helps to treat women with breast cancer, was going to be disposed of because it causes liver tumors in rats. Tamoxifen poses no threats to humans. Success rates of animal tests are so low that only 5 out of 10,000 potential drugs that are tested on animals actually make it to clinical trials. There are many more examples of times that animal experimentation has been detrimental to the development of medical research and has either caused dangerous drugs to be released to the public or of drugs that could greatly help certain diseases be withheld. Jane Goodall said, "A great deal of animal experimentation has been misleading and resulted in either withholding of drugs, sometimes for years, that were subsequently found to be beneficial to humans, or to the release of drugs, though harmless to animals, have actually contributed to human suffering and death." Many organizations have helped to try to end medical and cosmetic animal testing. The European Coalition to End Animal Experiments has worked for 25 years for the cause and has successfully ended cosmetic animal testing in the EU. PETA, a very well-known organization, has donated more than $1 million to research on alternatives. For their work, they received an award from the Institute for In Vitro Sciences. The Johns Hopkins University Center for Alternatives to Animal Testing has been working for over 30 years to find alternatives for animal test subjects. They regularly hold conferences with scientists, animal welfare organizations, and government regulatory committees to talk about alternatives to animal testing. These and many other organizations have taken many steps to globally end animal testing. It has already been banned in the European Union, Norway, India, and Israel. The United States has taken very well to the idea of legalizing animal testing, and it is being highly considered. The same can be said for Australia and New Zealand. The journey to end cruel animal experimentation is a long one, and much work still needs to be done to completely solve the problem. This cannot just be the work of animal welfare organizations. We all need to help. This could mean only buying from cruelty-free brands, donating to organizations, signing petitions, or raising awareness yourself. Together, we can all end the needless suffering of millions of animals.